I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Steve, you want to hand me those and I'll move them down for you?
I haven't signed it.
I haven't either.
Oh, okay, it just looked weird. The way they were.
If you could all join me, please, for a moment of silence for men and women in uniform. Thank you very much. John, agenda adjustments, we'll call the meeting to order at 3 minutes after, according to that clock.
Okay, we'll get a new battery now,
Can we get some new batteries, Tracy, for John's clock? We thought it was 20 minutes out. Okay.
too. We're just after another 20 minutes.
Yep.
So,
Oh, we would have knocked you down.
Oh, yeah.
okay. One thing I didn't write down, but we have another holidays for the next meeting. You have to change that date. That is on the-
Yeah.
Okay. All right, and, adjustments to the agenda, to go to item 6, I've got 2 requests to take money out of the reserve account. One, the park reserve, $6,369.91, and that's the money we, retainage money from M&H that we withheld after they were done. And then $13,660.07 police reserve, and that's the initial lease purchase payment for a police car that was ordered last June, just being delivered here next month, or this month, for a couple more weeks. And then notification from Western Maine Transportation that they're gonna be significantly cutting back services to Western Maine Franklin County because of the county commissioners failed to fund them like they've been doing in the last few years. So they did call right away when they found out to see what our process was, but they were already too late to put in a request.
You have that one under 7?
10.
Excuse me?
Number
10.
10? Anything else, John?
No.
Okay, thank you. If I could get a motion to approve the January 21st, 2020 regular meeting minutes.
Mr. Chairman, make a motion that we approve the regular meeting minutes for the Board of Select Persons for Monday, January 21st, 2020.
Second.
Corrections? All in favor?
I abstain on one here.
3, 4, 1 abstain. Public to speak under non-agenda items. Okay, thank you. Boards and committees, planning board regular meeting, you have that in front of you, as well as, there's 2 of them, from the 13th and the 27th. Any comments on what they've discussed? Okay, thank you. Consent items, appoint interim town clerk and registrar of voters. Can we appoint Lee Libby for this, John? Just thought I'd see if he was paying attention here.
Or if she's paying.
I think Tracy, like an interim, would, is that who you want?
Yeah, I'm the deputy clerk now. I was the intern last time we were here,
Okay.
so.
Okay, Tracy, thank you. Would you just like to bring everybody up to speed on interviews and what's coming?
We've had very little interest, So we've got two ladies that have applied for the clerk job, neither of them have experience, so we'll just see how they interview. We have 4 that have applied for the finance assistant, and they're scheduled to be interviewed on Wednesday. We'll see how that goes.
Thank you. Thank you. M&H retainage, need a
I
motion?
need a motion and a second for the interim.
I'm sorry?
I need a motion and a second for the interim town clerk. Y'all are appointing me.
I move Tracy, 2 seconds. All in favor? Thank you. M&H retainage, we owe them, let me get to that, 6. We owe them a total of $6,369.91. Need a move to pay it.
Make a motion to approve paying final balance on contract $6,369.91.
Second. Any questions? All in favor? So moved. The police car payment, is this the final one? $13,660?
One that's the brand new one that we ordered,
Yep,
that'll be the first.
First one.
Lease payment, and then we'll put the second one in the budget next year.
oh, I see it too, yeah.
Be out of the 15,000 reserve that we budget every year.
Okay.
Police cars.
The number is $13,660.07. Total financed amount, $38,000.
I'll make a motion to approve the payment to Ford Credit Municipal Finance for the 2020 Ford Police Interceptor in the amount of $13,660.07.
Second.
Thank you. Questions? All in favor? Thank you. Any correspondence? Hearing none. Old business. We have information on solar in your packet from Nick. What's Nick's last name?
Sampson.
Sorry?
Sampson.
No, not Nick Sampson. Have any questions on any of that?
I didn't have a chance to really read it much this weekend.
Some of the material, Cindy, in there indicates that there's still an opportunity, or at least that's his assumption at this point.
For off-site.
Correct? Yep.
He's not completely turned off the idea on-site either. He's in discussion with Keith well above my kilowatts and I'm not even gonna try and speak to it, but he's not completely turned off of the idea that we can still do it on site, but this is another option that his company provides.
So we'd be like just another bank that goes to us, and then somebody else would
Yeah.
have that array and this array
Yeah.
and all that.
Yeah,
Benefit from the lease, and we just pay.
yeah.
And I didn't see any, I don't think he tossed out any figures, did he, or did I
No.
miss something? An
Some.
initial
You
investment?
can extrapolate a lot of the figures from the data, but that doesn't mean it's true, because we don't know, A, if it can be, B, what the upfront costs are.
I guess I was just wondering if he had an initial investment amount he was suggesting.
And he's not giving me any,
It
he's
sort of
not
depends on-
quoted me an amount.
Good. You want another presentation from him soon?
If the, well, it sounds like it's time sensitive, but, how can we vote on something that we don't know? I mean, the other option, the on-site option, there was no money coming from the town at all, but this looks like it would be an off-site that we'd be investing in, and we'd need to know the amount, our return on investment, et cetera, and I don't know if he's able to do it.
They have till the end of February to lock in an agreement, so if you'd like him to come to the next February meeting to present to you, I'm sure that he can.
Yeah, we don't have much time if they only have to the end of February. So I think yes, but I want to make sure everybody else is
Oh,
on
yeah.
board.
Because a lot of this stuff, it says we expect the offset price to be this, that, and, I wanna know closer than we expect. So, yeah.
So our February meeting is the 24th?
No, 18th.
Well, it's actually on a holiday. Our next meeting's on a holiday, so you don't need to decide what you want to do with that. If you want to bump it back a week or have it on the following day or.
And that's in town manager section.
What's that?
18th, can you be here for the 18th, which is a
I've got
Tuesday?
conflict on that,
Hmm?
Usually the third Tuesday, I have a conflict. Last meeting, the same thing, I didn't go to my solid waste meeting. I don't know if I could miss 2 in a row, I'm the one that operates the thing, makes the presentation, I'm the administrator. But I haven't had a conflict yet, except we got 2 months in a row with a third Monday holiday, and, if you wanted to do it on Wednesday or the following Monday, that'd be fine.
Well, if we want him to come in, we probably wanna do it that week, cause the following Monday, now we're cutting out a whole other week. So I think I read in here it was the 26th they need to know by.
Everybody all right for Wednesday, the 19th?
Yep.
I have a I'll be late. I have an out of town commitment.
Okay.
So I'll be probably an hour late if we have a Wednesday.
You could be over by then, you wanna do it on Thursday?
Thursday?
That should be all right, if that's all right with everybody else.
Thursday looks fine.
Everybody else? Dave?
Cool.
Don?
No.
Thursday it is.
Thank you. I
What's the
appreciate it.
green dot?
Park commission,
Can they meet at another location or they meet at 4?
they can meet at the fireside, I'm not sure what time they gather, but we can send them down to the fire station if we need to.
Park Commission? Yeah, but you can't be there.
I don't sit in with the park commission.
Okay,
They can
all right.
do anything.
What's the next meeting is? That's, okay, I answered my question, all right. School Resource Officer. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, I had the chief write up what he's been doing out there, and the fact that the school allocated $6,000 they really like what he's doing up there, and I do too. I think it's the kind of thing in the day and age that we really need some exposure in the schools, given what's happening all over the country, and he's doing a good job. The principals, the teachers, they all like him, the kids all respond to him. He's up there a lot of extra time on sport events and lunches and things like that, so. My recommendation would be we give him a stipend. I know that came up at the last meeting. I think it was you, Mark, that suggested that. I think that was a good idea in case the school stops funding it sometime.
So the school's gonna pay 6,000, which is half of what they're looking at.
6,000.
So we'll keep, we pick up the other 6,000 and we're done. Okay.
Okay, no, I think if we gave them a stipend of $100, then that would be $5,200, and the difference would pay for the town's share of, benefits like social security and that, so, I think that would break even. Wouldn't cost us anymore, so.
Yep.
I move we do that we provide, for the $6,000, we provide Chief of Police Rangeley $100 a week for a net total of 52, the remaining going towards FICA, Social Security, etc.
Second.
Any other discussion on that?
Just a quick,
Yes,
so
ma'am.
will the school just issue one $6,000 check to
Yeah.
the,
We
okay.
they just suggested we just bill them and they'll send a check.
Yep. We actually got that, didn't we? Didn't they send that to you?
I haven't received it yet.
Oh, really? Because Sheila told me they had.
I
No?
haven't seen it.
I'm sorry. I thought you told me.
I thought they told the chief to bill them.
Okay.
I'm gonna bill them for that.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah, they've been billed.
They haven't billed them? Okay.
Okay. All those in favor? No, thank you. New business, multi-use track at Chick Hill, Mr. Lee Livy. Hi, Lee.
Hi. So I don't have a big presentation. What I'm here tonight for is to kind of see if you guys are open, you guys and gals are open to, I'd like to take, the town owns 404 acres at the end of the airport that encompasses Chick Hill. And snowmobile trail runs through it now, and there's a bunch of old cross-country ski trails through it now. I would like to build a 5-mile multi-use track that's open to the public. Now, first of all, I need to know if the town can give me permission to do something like that. And second of all, is it open to the public, or is there concerns about how we police it? So my vision for this is, right now I build a 5-mile track on private property for a rodeo. And eventually we're gonna lose that piece of land. As soon as there's a house or two built in there, that's gonna be gone, it's not gonna be an option. And right now, it's a huge fundraiser for the Snowmobile Club as well as the town of Rangeley. This year we had 260 racers between everything, and half of those people stayed in town that could stay in town. There wasn't a bed available. And at least they stayed, spent money, drank, ate, did whatever, but, so if we had this trail on what is considered pollution now, right? That's Chick Hill runoff, basically. It's a big swamp that doesn't go to Perk Pond, but it's kind of land that I don't think would ever be used for any type of development. If we could get that, if I could get that built for snowmobiles, fat bikes, I'd like to see the dog sled races come back. And, it's just, I gotta do something, because I really think we're gonna lose that track up there in the next few years. So is the town open to it? If they are, can I move forward with it? I don't expect to ask the town for any money for this. I think I can get it done pretty reasonably, and I think there's a lot of people, from what I've talked to, people that are interested in donating money and helping with labor and getting it done. It could just turn into a big fiasco, I don't know. In the end, you might have crazy people out there trying to take pickup trucks around it. I don't know, but it's something I would like to explore over the next year or so. I'd like to see if we could build it.
Did you say four-wheelers or just fat bikes and?
No, I think the 4-wheelers would be good. You know what's real popular right now, Donnie, is, it's called single track. It's like motocross, but it's not. So imagine a bunch of 50-year-old men like me on dirt bikes going through the woods at a high rate of speed on a single track that's just wide enough for your thing, and it's real popular, and that's kind of an off-season venue, you know. Anything, I feel anything I can do to get people to come to town on Friday night and leave on Sunday afternoon is a good idea, but, so we would see. I think, obviously, the town of Rangeley, the people of the town of Rangeley should have some say in whether, yes, they want it, no, they don't. I'm sure there's gonna be neighbors that are against it. I know Wayne, Usha, M&H, Paul and Laura Reynolds, they all own that big subdivision that goes down around on the side of Perk Pond, and then one side would be all town, the other side's the airport, so there's no development behind it, so we're kinda in a really good spot for something like this as far as noise, you know, and it's down in that hole. It's just a good spot. And 404 acres encompasses Chick Hill. I'm only looking, I probably need 200 of it, so we wouldn't even impede on the sewer treatment plant. I don't think you'd want us up there anyways. But I guess I just need, what's your thoughts? Anybody?
Have you had a discussion with Keith Savage at all
Yep.
about this?
Yes. Yep.
And
Yeah, I talked to the old town manager when he was here. Rebecca, I believe, was in on a meeting. Keith Savage, yeah. And they didn't think it would be a problem. Keith offered to help us lay it out so that we made sure that we were away from any of the treatment plant. It would have to be, you know, you couldn't do anything without everybody saying okay.
You don't have a map so we can see what this looks
Well,
like?
I do, I can bring that big one in if you want.
Okay.
No. But it's actually, so it's map 12, lot 16. And it comes off the end of the airport, and I just kind of sketched it out.
Oh, okay.
This is the airport here, this is Chick Hill, this is the sewer treatment plant, and there's about 200 acres right here that we would use that, and then Perk Pond's here. But
So is this like a circular track, or
I
is
think
it?
the way to get it incendiary would be to kind of snake it
Right.
around and, you know, everybody that's racing right now needs 5 miles, that seems to be the thing, and then they do multi-laps, so
Okay.
even the dog sledders, if you built it, and they came up for a weekend or whatnot, you know, they would just do laps around.
What about insurance if it's town-owned land?
That's what I need to know. Right now, everybody that comes on as a racer signs 2 waivers. They sign one at the gate that releases the town, and whoever's, because we're using town land now, we're on the airport. And then they sign another waiver when they race for liabilities, so. And then, you know, most, like, the snowmobile club carries its own liability insurance, and I'm sure whoever puts a venue on, whether it's single track or
Yeah.
snow bikes or dog sleds, the people that have the venue would have to have their own insurance. And that's all stuff that would have to be.
Yep.
But I don't expect that, I think my biggest fear is people thinking we're gonna build this track for the people of the town of Rangeley and just leave it wide open.
Yeah.
And it's not possible, you can't have that, it's gonna have to be a closed gate, there's gonna have to be venues, but I think there would be enough interest to keep something, you know, at least a half a dozen times a year. But
You could have built-in snowmaking.
yeah. That's a good idea, I could use it right now.
Might be a little yellow snow, but.
No yellow snow, no sewer plant snow, please.
John had a comment.
Mark?
Couple of things. One is, there'd have to be someone to take responsibility during construction for all the environmental stuff. And then, 'cause you're earth moving, and, then the other thing is about, would it be a lease type arrangement? Would somebody lease this land from the town to use? And, or would the town, you know, it seems like it could be complicated. I wouldn't know the best way that it gets structured. I'm just hearing about it really for the first time. But, there might be a few different ways to look at it. Yeah, to see what helps you accomplish what you're trying to accomplish, and, you know, limits the town's responsibilities and liabilities.
And I don't know that, I don't know, you know what I mean? I think in my mind, I'd like to do just something. I mean, it would be nice if that barren piece of land up there just had something that the townspeople could use, but is it even worth it to the town to do, you know what I mean? Is it more of a liability than it is an asset? And I'm all for, you know what I mean? For me, it's something I'd like to do, but if it's more of a liability than it is an asset, it doesn't make sense to do it, then we'll continue on doing what we're doing until we don't have it anymore.
I think pre-planning is necessary, and it makes some sense to be looking at this thing despite the early stages of seeing something that might be an issue, may not be, but Mark's points. John, you had something?
Yeah, well, we can check with MMA, Risport. My gut feeling is we've already covered for all recreational. Not there wouldn't be anything additional, and state law limits the liability under the Tort Claims Act to $400,000. The other thing I thought of while you were speaking was if snowmobiles are out there, don't you just have to list all landowners who allow you to have their trail through there, and they automatically on the state
Yes.
name
Yes.
liability
Yeah.
insurance?
So the town
No, I
might
think
say
the
probably
town might
already
be
on that.
covered.
I know Mark's on it.
You know, if we, you know, you could check with the state department that handles that. might be an alternative to,
I just want you to know I don't wanna create a problem, so if anybody sees.
I don't see where this is a problem. I think you've got an
Yeah.
idea that needs to be ferreted out. That's not a problem.
It'd be nice for the town.
Yep.
Just-
Yep.
And then, you know, there's questions, I guess I'm just asking for permission to move forward, but there's questions like, what happens to the timber? Do we sell the timber and that money goes back to the town? Obviously it does, it's the town people's money, you know what I mean? You know, all those things, and there would have to be somebody, and I know Keith Savage is more than capable of overseeing it, not kind of the person I think that would wanna be in charge of all that. It's just my idea, and I think I can organize most of it, but somebody from the town is gonna have to be managing any monies that come in. But
Yes, John?
I asked Keith today what he thought about it. He said he had no problem with fat bikes, with snowmobiles, what else, cross-country skiers. But he wasn't too keen on the ATVs.
Right.
nobody is.
Yeah, they're,
Tearing it
Nobody's
Cause a lot of
keen on
damage.
ATVs.
yeah.
That was the only thing, he didn't hesitate to be supportive of the other thing,
The ATVs are a hard sell, and I don't, it's a different industry, you know, the ATVs of yesterday is mom and pop and the guys out there drinking beer and raising heck, and now it's guys and gals buying not one, but two or three $20,000 machines that go 0 to 100 in 6 seconds. But at the same time, I know they're a nuisance, but those people are buying places in Rangeley so that they can recreate like that. And I've said for the last 3 or 4 years that the future of ATVing is gonna be different than we know it today. And we're gonna either have to build our trail system to accommodate those people that they're gonna go somewhere else. You know, when they roll into town with a $70,000 pickup truck and $70,000 worth of ATVs in a trailer, they're gonna need a $300,000 house, you know? But do we, I mean, I wish I could figure it out with the trail system, because they stayed the crap out of my snowmobile trail.
Yeah.
That's a statewide issue with those ATVs. The task force that was appointed to study it, just came up with a list of recommendations that they presented to the legislature last week, and those are gonna be discussed, you know, for the months to come. There's all different kinds of regulations and how these trails are gonna get funded and all of those things. And but I also think there's a difference between recreational trail ATV riding and racing. You know, they have races on them, you know, I think you're in a whole different territory then, and that's got its own issues. But yeah, the whole state's struggling with how as these ATVs have grown in size and their tires, you know, dislodge a lot of material on people's land and it washes away and stuff like that, you know, they're not as welcome as a snowmobile which rides on snow from a landowner's perspective.
And I do feel bad to go up there and build that track for snowmobiles and even fat bikes on the snow, though that's really popular, especially if they had a track. The dog sledders, I know they'd come back in a minute if they had a place to go without snowmobiles interfering, you know, but kind of excluding the ATV people, but to build a track that was only used in the wintertime would be less intrusive to the property overall. It would be much easier to build, we wouldn't be excavating, because I literally just need to take and harvest that timber out of that track and flip those stumps and let it snow. You know what I mean? It's minimal, let the grass grow on it, and we're done. But we're cutting the ATVs out. But, is it,
Yeah, they don't fit into every equation though, you know, we can't have it all.
right?
So let's build on what fits Rangeley.
You know, well, that's the thing, you don't want them coming in tearing up what you just built,
Right.
nice and flat and, you know, whatever, so I don't know. It's a hard call, it really is.
Well, that's why I'm here, I just wanna know, is anybody, if we're interested in it, I'd like to sit down with Keith and move forward. If we're not interested in it, then
I think what would be beneficial to all of us is for you and Keith to come up with a plan on a map and talk about all of the identified issues, how you deal with the environment, how you deal with, I hear what Mark has to say about leaves, but more importantly, the timber, and then bring a plan, and we'll go from there.
all right, thank you.
Sound good?
Yeah.
Sound good with everybody?
Yeah, I think you have interest here.
Yeah, it's, you might as
Visualize
well,
it.
because at some point we'll need a public hearing and
Oh, we will. It's all gonna go
Two,
before the public.
and-
It won't be our decision. Yep.
we'll need a visual, yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely, thank you. Good idea, Lee.
Thanks, Lee.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Main Service Centers Coalition. I talked with John a little bit about this thing, and after I read it, I was just wondering if we were duplicating what we already have with MMA. Why waste the money? What's your thoughts, everybody?
I was wondering what John had to say about this and his
When
experience.
it first started years ago, I was in Rumford in the 80s, and we joined it, and I was appointed one of, Rumford's representative, and they, it was a group of town managers, mostly from the biggest city, well, the service centers are all the biggest cities, and Rangeley's considered a service center, because you have the health center here, you have the grocery store here, and those kind of things, restaurants, hotels. So, you'd be one of the smaller towns, they asked Mexico, that's like a service center since Walmart's been in there. Cause they had to prove certain amount of, revenues coming in from the businesses, the state determines whether you're eligible or not, so. I can take it or leave it after being on the board for the first year. What they do is they hire a consultant, and particularly all the last decade, they've been lobbying on restoring revenue sharing and programs that affect municipalities and the revenue they get from the state. And MMA does that very effectively. We've seen the Legislative Policy Committee, it's got 2 elected representatives from each county on the committee. They meet and go over every piece of legislation every year that impacts municipalities. And they have a lobby team of about 3 lawyers that divvy it up, so some do taxation, some do something else, some do healthcare. So whatever the bill is, and they'll go down and testify, whatever the policy committee's opinion is, and they'll vote on every issue, and whether they want to support the law or reject the law, or neither for nor against. So I think we're very well covered with MMA.
And does AvCog, would that be a similar,
No, AvCog is a tri-county regional planning entity,
okay,
and they're set up for doing maps and doing things like that within the 3 counties, Oxford, Franklin, and Amescog. That's entirely different than that.
So it sounds like these guys are basically lobbyists for their towns,
Well, the
cities.
town managers can't lobby, but
Oh, yeah.
together they formed this, and they pay a lobbyist to be in Augusta and talk, one-on-one with legislators.
Well, bottom line is it's worth $500.
I had to pull Mexico out because to them, $500 was a lot of money. It was a hard thing to get them to come up with $500 to join the first year, but after that, we just stopped funding it, pulled out of it.
Dave, you have any questions?
no,
If you're in favor, somebody make a motion. If not, let's let it die. All right, thank you. RFP construction loans.
We're into the good stuff.
We have 3 in front of us, the Skowhegan Savings Bank, Androscoggin, and Franklin Savings Bank. Let's hear first from Rebecca and your recommendation.
Looking over, I mean, as you can see in the good results, Skowhegan Savings is offering the lowest interest rate and doing, merging the current loan and the 3 million.
John, did you take a look as well?
I did, I have a question for Rebecca, maybe she talked to somebody. The option 12A and 12B, I couldn't see where they were different except the rate was smaller.
12A is 12 years,
Oh.
option A is 3.5%,
Okay.
option B is at 12 years at 3.35%.
Yeah, but what's the difference in that?
It's just the interest rate.
That's it?
Yeah, but with option B, you have to have a deposit relationship with them of
Oh, okay,
500,000.
for a min, yeah, 500,000 for 10 years, the minimum is already.
And that was for Androscoggin Savings.
Yes.
Yeah.
And who's that bank now, Franklin?
Yes.
So,
I mean, Franklin does an amazing rate for the first year,
yeah,
but then the rate thereafter is a little, I mean, it's not a lot, it's a little higher than
Mhm.
Skowhegan.
and the rate's only gonna apply on what we actually
That
take
first
out
year.
of the loan the first couple of years. I mean, I don't know what it's gonna be till we get bids and get contracts and, you know, that kind of thing, so.
All right.
I think, you know, number one and number three are probably more equivalent than number two.
Okay.
Any questions, Donnie?
No.
Dave? Leanna, would you like to add something?
I'm not privileged to know what the rates and terms were on the Skowhegans. 3.088, okay. The differential is minimal between those two. If you look at that scenario, 3.08, we're quoting 3.15. We also gave you the option of rolling in what you have outstanding right now in the option, so you could do the same thing, and you would get 275 on what you have right now, existing, plus whatever you draw for the first 12 months. That differential would have some bearing over the whole term. You do pay interest only, and only for the term of what you draw. We did give you an option to do a third-year draw, in case something happened, it ran out over those 2 years, and you needed to run into the third year, so you do have the option to draw for 3 years and not 2. That's flexible and open, and you could do your monthly P&I. I mean, we've had a good working relationship with you all. I think we've proven ourselves for the first loan. Very available, very easy to service. Rates and terms very competitive. And we hope that you would take that into consideration in part of the process.
Cindy?
So just to note, since we don't have an amortization from Franklin Savings Bank, there's a little bit of a comparison. So on page 2 of the amortization for Skowhegan Savings Bank, there's a total interest payment of $478,195. And on option 10B for Androscoggin Savings Bank at 3.11, the interest is $568,025.33. So about a $90,000 increase on 3.11, paying more for interest.
I think that depends on how you calculate that 2-year amortization schedule and how quickly you draw. And whether you draw it over a 10-year term or you draw it on a...
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes, go ahead.
I didn't realize, for this, that the 2.75 was for what we currently have and for the first year draw. My suggestion is for her to put an amortization schedule together and then compare it at the next meeting. Just my suggestion.
Right, thank you.
Can I ask a question, Steve?
Go ahead.
Do you advise us consolidating both loans or keep them separate?
At this point in time, you'd be just as well off to consolidate because you get the better deal. The reason before, when we talked about it, when we were discussing that back in August, prime rate was higher. And so your rates and terms weren't gonna be as favorable. That's why at that point, I think when Rebecca and I had spoken, I had said that keeping the two separate would be an advantage to you. Correct. The differential now is that the rates and terms have gone down based on what's happened to prime. So you can get a better deal than you're getting right now at 3.3.
Okay,
You could get 3.15.
That was my question.
Yeah, so you're at 3.3 right now, Cindy, so you
Okay.
could get 3.15 on your entire amount. You also would get the match of 275. The differential is whenever you decide to do it. You know, if you decided to take that draw in June, let's say, or May, and pay out the first loan, you still have that amount of money that's available to use. You still have money that's available, 1.4, I believe, is the amount that's still outstanding on that draw loan. That you're not paying any interest on.
Yeah, we've only taken out, I think, 914,000.
Correct. So you have 1.186 million still left to draw on the construction loan that you currently have. So you're only paying it on that additional fund, those additional funds. The longer you wait to take that draw, the longer your one-year term on your higher amount. That's the differential. And that's what's very difficult to put in any amortization schedule, unless you're apples to apples.
Well, it's easy to draw it up in amortization when you have nothing other than the total amount of $3 million.
Correct, I mean,
Very
anybody
simple
can
to
draw
do
that
that.
number, but it depends on how you draw it out. And when there's a staggered interest rate, the differential, it can be quite a bit, so. I think I figured the interest scenario, just the differential between the 2.75 and the 311 saved you about $8,000 or $9,000 for the first year. On just what you got outstanding, so.
Okay. Anything else?
Mark,
I
I
just
see that.
noticed on the Skowhegan savings bid, that they're talking about merge current loan and new loan for 5.1 million at 3.080. Well, we already took out some of that loan. We're not gonna merge it for the whole 5.1 million. We've already made some payments.
You've already made principal reductions, absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah. So
I
it
didn't know
wouldn't
if
be,
they checked, did they check with you, Rebecca, or not?
He asked how much we withdrew, and he asked how much we withdrew.
I just didn't know if that was just.
Anything else for Leanne?
No.
Dave? Cindy?
No, had you heard from Ethan at all?
Yeah, he's not gonna be here.
No, just,
So the 1-year clock starts ticking when you sign this agreement with Franklin's Havens, is that what happens once you sign it? You have a year at a certain rate, and then after that year it goes to a different rate, is that what? So, to get a handle on just what it's gonna cost the town, would you folks have to, like, take your best guess of what the earliest is you'd be starting to draw off of that, you know, if you're not gonna have your engineering and all of that stuff, you know, if you're not gonna start funding the project till July or August or something like that, you know, you'd have to take that. I know you're hoping it's sooner than that, but, you know, I'm just.
You're painting a picture I wish wasn't on TV.
I'm just saying, you
Yeah.
know, however months it is from the
Yeah.
time you sign till the time you do that, you know, it only leaves you so many other months at a lower interest rate, so you'd have to kind of factor that in to kind of see what the actual cost is gonna be to the.
So is your recommendation to wait and see?
No,
Given the fact
I'm
we're
just
prime
saying,
is-
you know, it's just another part of your due diligence that, you know, when you go to make a decision on that, they're gonna bring you back some more amortization tables, you know, at your next meeting or something, you know, yeah.
I don't think we need it because of the combination too, Rebecca.
In the RFP, I spoke to Keith, and he estimated what the first year draw would be and what the second year draw would be, so that was actually put in there.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mark. All right, need a motion.
So we either need a motion that we're going to table it till the next meeting with additional amortizations, or go with Rebecca's suggestion and go with Skowhegan Savings Bank. Is that right?
No. No, I think Rebecca changed her recommendation, knowing what Leanna's go ahead. I don't want to put words in your mouth.
I didn't recommend anybody, but the fact that I was mistaken on the 2.75, I thought that was for the new. I personally would like to see an amortization schedule from Franklin Savings.
Go ahead, John.
Keep in mind, we might not need the whole
Right.
$3 million, you know, we're only really gonna need what we need so we don't forego these federal grants.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got those 4 projects, that's what started, I mean, that's what dictated the $3 million. But if you're free to use money from that airport project, I mean, that's gonna be up for you to decide.
Right, but that affects the drawdown. That affects the drawdown, not the fact that we're able to formulate a relationship with $3 million is the top number.
Yeah,
Plus that money can be used for anything at this point, roads included.
If we don't borrow $3 million, we don't borrow $3 million.
Right, that's why to me it was important that we draw it down as we need it. Is that for the life of this?
You can draw down as many times as you want during any window period.
Yeah.
That's why I gave you that additional 3rd-year window. Plus, you don't pay anything down, we're not required to pay anything down for the first 12 months.
Okay.
So once you take it, you could pay interest only for that 12-month window, or you could elect to continue to make your 125 or whatever the dollar amount is that you pay, which would reduce the principal again and reduce the interest that you pay. Everything is, there's a lot of variables here, guys, there's a lot. And so a lot depends on what you draw, how you do it.
Yeah.
You're talking about .07 is your difference.
I'll make a motion that we go with Franklin Savings Bank.
Second. Moved and seconded, we go with Franklin Savings Bank. Any more discussion?
I guess I agree with Rebecca, I would like to see an amortization.
I wonder what an amortization is gonna show us, because we don't know what the draw is and what you're amortizing. That's why I'm hesitant to go with that. Unless you can tell me that you can get something definitive from a speculation amortization sheet as opposed to an accurate one based upon one number of $3 million. And that's what we have in front of us.
Another thing that she just said is, there's no payment for a year. We could pay on the principal, or we pay $124 something thousand twice a year. We could take that money and not,
Use it.
yeah.
I mean, I'm all in favor of more information if it was germane. I just don't see how you're gonna do it. Unless you can tell me, yeah, I can give you
I can give you 5 amortization schedules with 5 different pieces. I mean, that's the part that's difficult. It depends on what you draw. Do you draw, $4.9 million? Do you draw?
$250,000 because we're
The
using
difference
something
is
else.
.07. That's your differential on your total. So if you look at a $5 million project times .07. That equivalence is $3,500.
John, you had another
But
question?
somebody else can try that if they wanna make sure their computers work better than mine.
I just, when Rebecca said we'd make 2 payments here of $124,000, that reminded me, that's $248,000 from the excise tax revenue. And that leaves, on average, $89,000 more a year in the excise tax revenues that could go toward the expenses of this thing, because the town already voted all excise tax revenues to go into road projects. So you got a little buffer there, you also got about $30,000, and Europe money there from DOT. The $600
that's just it, we'd want to pay down as much as possible with any loan,
And that's what the town already voted,
Right.
to use all that money for paying this down.
yeah.
You got something, Dave?
Kind of my thought process was we already have a loan in Franklin that we're drawing down on. So if we can take that and just basically we get a line, we have a line of credit that we're gonna increase. And we're gonna get a lower interest rate for what we've already got. So
And a lower-
it's simple. We don't have to change all of our accounts over to another bank. We're just taking something that already exists and just making an extension to it.
I mean, you can
Yep.
figure it any way you want, but it's the interest rates that are gonna draw this, and
Yep.
it's a no-brainer for me.
Okay, moved and seconded. Anything else, Cindy?
I think so.
All in favor of Franklin Savings Bank? Thank you. Thank you, Leona, for coming out.
Thank you for
very much
coming
for your
in.
business, and we appreciate the opportunity to help again.
Thank you very much. Picked a concert yet?
Yes.
Yes.
Did you say
You're not
yes?
gonna tell
Did.
us, right? How do you know? Oh, she knows
Because I
now.
38 special and the guess who.
Yeah,
Oh, cool.
that's great.
Who is it?
38 special and the guess who.
Yeah. You have to
Two
be,
separate
Never been
bands.
lost, but I'm not lost.
might have to be a certain age.
Go listen to the music. You won't be lost when you listen to
You
No,
know the
you-
who. You
I didn't
don't
hear
know?
her say the who.
the who.
Okay, okay.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Next
Thank you very
up,
much.
bid notice, mainland, Loon Lake Road.
Just for your information, the engineering is all done. This is sent today, this is in the drawings. So, bids are going out, and I did get confirmation that in the Northern Border Grant, the construction period can go to September of 2021, which I think might get a better contract.
Yeah,
Because they'll have 2 years of construction to be able to finish this project. And they confirm that that's what,
okay.
because one part of that grant said 2020, so.
But yeah, I think that's what you reported to us in a previous meeting,
I
so,
was worried, so one was 2020 and another page it had 2021, September 30th. So I clarified that, they agreed, 2021. So they should be sending us a notice to proceed right away and within the next few days. And this here, any contractors can buy a set of drawings here. They have to put a cashier's check for 5% of the bid in with their bid. And those things are standard, they've been designed to, just make qualified bidders for
Right.
these projects, Engineering wise, the law says any project over 100,000 has to be designed and stamped by an engineer, so. So we're gonna have, any questions to the engineer by February 11th at 1 PM, and then responses to questions will be February 12th, 5 PM. And then, bid opening will be the 14th. And then we can put them on the next selectmen agenda for you guys to, yes.
so John, will that date be changed to 2021? The project is to be substantially completed by September 30th of 2020?
Yeah, we already notified the engineer to change in the bid specs.
Okay, all right, awesome,
2021 and send out an amendment already on that.
Okay.
So the bidders
awesome.
still have plenty of time to, shop it.
Next to get that done.
Yeah.
And we have, Jeff Preble, he's getting together the specs for the Ball Mountain part of it. That'll be a separate bid too. So this, if we can get that one for 2021, I'm gonna check that one and see what that is for the DEP. And we're pretty flexible, because that'll be ready, this construction season to go to bid.
Mhm.
And then, just
That'd be nice. Any questions? Yes? Dave?
And we also have Darrell Sterling filling out another NPI at the request of Mark Hume to do the lower half of Bloom Lake and replace all those rusted culverts that are down there where they join Main Street. That'll change that, you know, in the current engineering bid, it was to just do grinding and shaping and repaving the lower half from the street that goes into the school down to Main Street.
Can you get us an idea from Maine DOT what they think their responsibility is for financing this part?
Keith and I met with Mark, he came up here a week or two ago, and, you know, we hit him on that. He said, you know, they just got an extra $2 million in this current year's budget coming up. And, state year is July like ours, and, he said there should be more than enough NPI money. Instead of $5 million, there'd be $7 million available, so.
Oh, good.
If we get that, then we pay half of that, they pay half. Another couple $100,000 into a $400,000 project. So the concern is, and we talked it over with Mark, like we're gonna build a whole new storm collection system on the upper half of that. What happens when that extra water goes into the lower half? And how it's gonna fail or what? I mean, you gotta be aware of that, because that's the culverts, you know.
Blow out the Main Street.
Oh, no.
Yep.
The guys are coming up.
Yeah, that'd be awful.
Faithful.
Anything else in that department? Thank you, John.
No, I think
Anything
we're
else from
in
you?
really good shape. I'm pleased that all the good things are lining up finally.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
You have your department heads updates in front of you. Any questions on any of that?
So no, they're not gonna let them extend the tower on Ball Mountain?
Maine Parks and Recreation has turned the application down at this point.
Is there recourse here?
They can reapply,
Okay.
which I know they are intending to do.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other?
I just lost an
Hmm?
earring. I just lost an earring. I heard regarding towers.
Concentrate.
Regarding towers, the contractor who had requested to build that,
American Tower.
yeah, no, this is the Dallas Plantation Tower. I guess they've reached out to the assessors and they want to know why, why it was, why the residents didn't want it, et cetera. So they may be looking for another location in that area, but I think they were a little surprised with the residents' response against the tower, since they thought the site was well suited. Anyway, so there may be something down the road.
Yep.
I know, the original site was on, they wanted to lease a piece of my land, and there were 4 or 5 people that were opposed to it, and, but there wasn't a single letter of support, even though the majority of Dallas Plantation is underserved with cell phone service. They never got anything from the fire department that would stating that a tower up on Dallas Hill would help them do their job better. Nothing from the sheriff's department, nothing from the Ranger Police, nothing from the warden service, nothing from their public works. The water district has 0 cell phone coverage at their wellhead out on the Navy base road, and that they'd have had 5 bars, if that tower had gone in there. So that was the thing. I think those folks, never having been turned down before, didn't realize they needed to reach out and get some letters of support. I think that would have made a difference. So if they do find a new location, I'd encourage, where they're contracted with the town of Rangeley, the town of Dallas is for, fire service and things like that. I think, our fire department should have issued a letter of support, not for any particular site, but just improve cell phone coverage, would help them do their job better. So if that opportunity comes up again, I think the town should do something in that regard.
Can they reapply for the same location?
I don't know.
I haven't heard that the fire department were ever approached or any kind of letter of support.
Right, but they knew about it. And that's what I was saying, I think the applicant,
Should have reached out.
should have reached out more.
I heard you say that, yep.
And,
Yep.
they didn't, so that was a shortcoming on their part.
That would probably have a huge effect on the mountain too if it opens, because that probably would have given them service up at the mountain better.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it would have hit the Stratton Road, it would have hit down the S-turns, it would have hit down to the end of the Bemis. It's just a dominant site for around
Bad.
here.
Yeah. Thank you, Mark. Next up is the calendar. Anything else on the, department heads? We good? All right. Next up is the calendar. Scheduled budget meetings. At the last meeting we had, they elected a new chair. Help me with his name.
Harry Simon. Harry Simon.
And the vice chair is Shelley Lowell. They're gonna schedule some meetings for themselves, and then we need to come up with when we, excuse me?
Yeah.
When we wanna get together and go over this. I'd like to do it in conjunction with them. It doesn't make any sense to,
Have two separate meetings.
yeah, go round and around, particularly when it comes to presentations, we should all be doing it at one time.
Yep.
So, do you wanna let me know what everybody's dates are that are good, or do you want to, how about we pick the first date right now, and then at that meeting, we can
Go from
schedule
there.
our remainder. Is that
Yeah.
comfortable with everybody? So today is what, by the way, I'm glad to see you all here. I was concerned after the, what is it, 02/02/2020, what do they call it, palindrome? Is that right?
See?
I was concerned maybe one of us will go poof and not be
Oh.
here, you know? Remember the fear with 2,000 turning around?
Yeah.
Ethan, no, by the way, what Ethan's doing tonight is he's with his daughter who won a competition, and she's doing a poetry reading the first time for her. And it might be Westbrook, I don't remember where it was going. But he was very concerned about not being here, and I go, are you kidding me with your daughter being in this? Come on,
Yeah.
we all understand that stuff. I mean, all right, so what's the date today, yeah, there you go, third, thank you.
Monday the 10th?
So you wanna go, I didn't hear you.
Want to meet the 10th?
I'm good with the 10th. Everybody else good with the 10th?
Yep, I'm good.
Dave?
Vienna? Yep, that's fine.
All right, the 10th it is. Can we,
What time?
What time?
I'd like to get going at 5 if you can make it. You guys. My
Usually we
schedule's
do budget at 5, so.
Yeah, are
Yeah.
you good with 5?
Yep.
All right, 5 o'clock. Can you notify,
Budget committee?
what's his name again?
Harry Simons?
Yes, thank you. He can let his group know.
Who would you like to be here? I mean, Keith can be here, well, just Keith, because he's got Parks and Rec,
Yeah.
sewer treatment, public works, got all of that. So he could take up a whole night by himself.
Well, at
Yeah.
least
He
Keith.
could have police and fire and,
Yeah, at least Keith, and probably whoever's ready.
you know, I think we're all ready.
Okay,
So
all right, Keith,
take
police and
Keith,
fire.
If there's still time, we can do some of the smaller departments.
Yeah.
and, you know, Tom
Right.
and,
Good. All set for that?
Yes.
That
Okay, good.
works.
Selectmen's meeting is now going to be February 21st.
Let me get that.
20th?
20.
20th.
20th, yeah.
Wait a minute,
Thursday
you
the
told me,
20th.
oh, okay, Yep, yep. I thought.
Yeah, 20.
2-0. And the rest of the dates, March 2nd, final vote on the warrant, public hearing, nomination papers, presidential primary and special state referendum elections. I think this was all put down to show the vast amount of work that needs to be done in voting. And March 6th, voter recommendations to clerk by 8 a.m. 23rd, public hearing on warrant. August 19th, elected officials workshop in Rangeley. That will be at the Rangeley Inn. It's a full day, correct?
No, 4 o'clock, I think.
Yeah, it's in the
Yeah.
evening.
4:30 till 8, maybe.
Oh, that's the 148? Oh, the one I go in,
All
that's
try
the one.
to go, since it's in Rangeley, it's a rare thing when they have one of these
Yep.
here, I think.
Yep.
We had one a couple of years ago.
Yep.
4:30 to 8:30.
Steve?
Yes.
Steve?
Oh, I'm sorry, Steve.
So, just a thought, and maybe you've already discussed this, but the March 23rd public hearing on the warrant articles, it'd be good for the nonprofits to present as well for the okay, because there's no need for them to present to us
Exactly.
and waste their
Exactly.
time,
So-
yeah, let's just do it all, okay, perfect,
Yeah.
great, thank
Yeah,
you.
we'd agreed on that one last year, remember? You had brought that up last year.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Yeah.
As far as I know.
Anything else on the calendar? Okay. FAME and MRDA Saddleback update. I am pleased to tell you all, which I'm sure nobody's living in that kind of vacuum, Saddleback is now owned by Arc Cares.
Yeah,
Get out.
And, what's that?
someone throw something at Dave.
He's just messing with it.
I didn't hear him, what'd you say?
I said, get out.
Get
Get
out!
out, I know, huh?
Really?
Pretty cool, right?
My thought was finally.
I'm sure you've seen all the
Been jerked
Facebook
around for
posts of
4
how
years.
all sorts of people worked very hard to get this, and they did.
Yeah.
And
Great.
this was the culmination of,
A lot.
there was a comment made at the public hearing, that was the public meeting that was at Saddleback, as to whether the wealthy people in the area are contributing to this. And I will tell you, part of my contribution to all this was to help organize some of that. And not only did they contribute, they made this possible.
That's great.
Completely made this possible. So, one more time that the benevolent folks that live here as second homeowners have stepped up to make Rangeley something special.
No.
So, any comments or anybody wants to make about Saddleback?
It's a great thing.
Fabulous thing. Congratulations. Thank you for your help. I know you were instrumental in some things. Next up is Finance Assistant Resignation.
Karen,
Mhm.
she's done Friday.
Yes.
His last day was today.
Mm.
Yep.
What?
We were in
You
trouble
missed
for a
it?
little while there.
Tracy?
What's that?
ideas.
All right, this brings up a couple of things that need to be taken care of, and we need to authorize John to issue stipends, pardon me, to those who are going to fill these slots and plus do their other jobs. And I'm of the mind to let John come up with numbers and talking with the folks that are doing it, and then come back to us
Yep.
with that. You have any?
No,
Other-
that's great.
Absolutely.
All right, sooner the next meeting for sure, but, you know, obviously, we know it's gotta be in the queue here pretty quick.
Especially a BMV agent. Do we have a backup BMV agent?
Yeah, me.
Okay, good. All right.
You certified with them? Yeah, good.
Yep.
Send all the heavy trucks down your way. I have one other thing that personal, both of these girls, both their sons are on this championship basketball team, and next week's
Tournament.
tournament, and you had nobody
Weekend.
else, normally we would have had Kara or Tricia
Mhm.
here, but,
We're not sure when the games are gonna be scheduled.
That's right.
But there is a likelihood that it could happen during business hours, as they sometimes do.
Yeah.
I have not seen a schedule.
So typically, playoff week is the week of President's Day.
Vacation week.
So maybe they'll play on Monday. Highly unlikely if they're a higher seed, but yeah, just,
So I know as parents, we all wanna be there for our children's,
yeah.
big games.
So if there's one scheduled on Thursday, we will not be having a board meeting.
Well,
Depending on the time.
I just need some flexibility that, when we find out what the schedule is, if it's in the middle of the day, might have to close the office.
Look, this is unusual circumstances, and I don't think it's right for us to deny a parent an opportunity because we're shorthanded, okay?
No,
I'm in
Their
favor
fault.
of allowing
Yeah.
John to make the call as to how these things play out and get you to the games, okay? Everybody else have
I
any?
stand at the counter, but I don't,
Yeah, no, as soon as you find
Yeah,
out.
I mean, you would just shut the counter. I mean, if Tom will still be
You should be, yeah.
working and.
His son, well, all three of our sons are starters.
That's true.
Oh, that's right, Ian.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Wow.
Leanna, thank you for volunteering to come up and watch the game.
Sure, I can give out answers.
Mark, you wanna cover the counter?
You'd be amazed at how much I can.
Come on, Mark, step up, brother. I'll come in with you.
I would if no one else shows up. I'd come meet people if you need to, but I was just sitting here thinking, maybe there's some past employees who still have retained the basic skills to do some of these things.
We'd have to get him back on the payroll, I think that's gonna interest
You
him.
couldn't just,
I think most of them have full-time jobs.
I know some of them have full-time
Yeah.
jobs, but I was thinking there might be a couple of them that didn't, that it might be worth asking.
Thank you.
But I would volunteer to, just meet people if you need someone for a few hours there while people go to the games. Not that it could be a great help this now, but it's better than nobody maybe.
Put your rocking chair out there
yeah. We'll figure it out.
and, yeah.
We'll let
Yeah,
John,
just keep us posted.
everybody good with allowing John this latitude?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, good, thank you.
Thank you.
Alrighty. I need a motion to accept,
They deserve it, so.
pardon me?
They deserve, to be.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No question.
We need a motion to accept Kara's resignation.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion, we accept the finance assistant's resignation as of tomorrow?
Friday.
Friday.
Seventh, I'm
We
sorry.
have interviews lined up for Wednesday.
Okay.
This week.
I need a second.
Second,
Cindy, thank you.
with regret.
All in favor?
Brett? Yep.
Thank you. Western Main Transport. I think you already told us all about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't have any money.
One of those letters last time that the county decided not to.
This is the first casualty.
Yeah. I think they just wanted you to know that you're not gonna be transporting people. I don't know how often they were here in the past.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too.
Yeah, don't
Leanna,
forget,
how's the leg?
you're gonna need that.
Yeah,
Long days.
yeah, thank you.
See you later.
Anything else on that, John, Western Main Transport?
No, it's just for your information. So
Yeah.
In case people call, how come the buses are
Yeah.
here?
Very good. Select Board Communications, anything? Yes, Cindy?
I just, did you get exit interviews, or will you be getting exit interviews out of Kara or Tricia?
I talked, I didn't do a formal exit interview. They didn't want to have Anna Lee come in here and interview them, neither one of them, so. I haven't sensed they have any kind of animosity toward anybody here. They just got better job out.
Oh, yeah, no, it's,
But I haven't, I did talk to Kara and said, if we offered you more money, would you stay? She said it would have to be an awful lot of money. So I don't know what Mike Coon offered her.
Ouch.
More than what we were paying. And she initially, when Tricia resigned, she initially was expressed to Tracy interest in wanting to
Tracy
do that.
expressed to her, I tracked her down.
Oh, you did?
I had her almost talked into taking the town clerk job, but it's just a timing thing. I told her that evening, and he's paying her a lot more money than we will, so
Yeah,
gotta take care of yourself. so.
exactly.
And there's a, you know, there's a lot of activity in here. I think Tricia's a little more calm, she's going to work with the bank, and probably a little less stressful.
Yeah,
Both of them, anytime they need a reference at all, I'd be happy to give them
Good.
both a good reference, because they're excellent employees.
yeah,
So,
super.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Anything else?
thank you. No, that was, I just,
Dave, you got anything?
No.
No? All right, we need a motion to go into executive session.
I'll make a motion that we go into executive session pursuant to MRSA Title I, Chapter 13, Subchapter 1, Section 405, 6A, to discuss personnel matters.
Second.
Thank you. Okay,
For the vote?
all in favor?